Could Nippert Stadium expand in the future? I'll answer that question on today's episode of Locked On Bearcats.
Our Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we thank you so much for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. It's free and available everywhere you get your podcast. Alex Frank here with you, former sports director of Bearcast Media, bringing all of those experiences here to the Locked On Bearcats podcast. Don't forget, if you're watching on our Locked On Bearcats YouTube channel, which is out of 194 subscribers and counting, hit that subscribe button. Follow us to get an alert every time we drop a new episode. Like and share a comment on today's video and any video on our YouTube channel. So Nippert Stadium, could it expand in the future? I think it's definitely a possibility. However, I don't think it needs to expand just yet. Now, let's get to the good. The good is this. Nippert Stadium has sold out over 23,000 season tickets this year. It is amazing to hear that statistic. But there's no need to expand Nippert Stadium just yet. There's no need to, just because we have this large number of season tickets that have sold out. I mean, that's over half of Nippert Stadium. It's only 40,000 seats. But just because you have that large number, you don't need to expand it. You know, there's so much that needs to happen for Nippert Stadium to expand. You know, the Cincinnati Bearcats, for as much success as they're having right now, they still need to follow up what they did last year. Win a third straight conference championship, go into the Big 12, and start winning there. So why would you expand if it's not guaranteed that Cincinnati is going to do well in the Big 12, and they need to keep increasing the number of sales and season tickets. Winning is going to draw fans. You saw what the Bearcats did when they won over the course of 4 years. Remember when you struggled to get 20,000 fans back in 2017? Now you don't struggle to sell out Nippert Stadium. I mean, some of the crowds last year were insane. Some of the crowds in 2019, loud, deafening. 2018, the same way. But the Bearcats need to do well in the Big 12. And I quite frankly think that if they get to 30,000 season tickets sold, that's 75%. That's 3/4 of capacity. Then, okay, expansion is, realistic. But right now, it's not. And you also have to consider enrollment's got to increase. The success of the program, I think, is what's, a factor in the increased enrollment to the University of Cincinnati. But there's not enough sustained evidence for expansion right now. It's just 1 year. Now, of course, when you have something like this, expansion, the word expansion is going to, be surfaced. It's going to be brought up. Of course it does. And maybe it's because Nippert Stadium is a small college football venue. You look around college football in your Power 5 stadiums. You look at your Ohio States, your Michigans, your Alabamas, your Floridas and Georgias and Clemsons and all those schools, USC, Oregon, whatever, etc. They're large stadiums. I'm talking somewhere between 80 to 100,000. Okay, Nippert Stadium's not that. But you also have to keep in mind, again, that this is an urban campus in a metropolitan city. Georgia, Florida, Clemson, those schools, they're not in urban cities. No, they're in Athens, Georgia, which is, not in Atlanta or even a Macon, perhaps. It's, disregard, it's not even a Macon. It's not Atlanta. Gainesville is not a Jacksonville or an Orlando or, Miami. They're small college towns. Cincinnati's not that. So that has to factor in. And again, you just don't know if this success is going to continue. I think if you sell out 30,000 season tickets in one season, fine. I think if you have the next 5 seasons of 10-plus wins, maybe 2 college football playoff appearances once you join the Big 12, perhaps playing for a national championship, okay, that's fine. But this is not just an easy, well, you got to expand. You don't know that. The Cincinnati Bearcats, if they take a step back next year, which I'm not going to rule out the possibility that they could, then they go to the Big 12 and you go, well, how good are they really going to be? Right now, you think they're going to be really good. I am included in that. But you don't know that for sure. That's why, again, it's great the Nippert Stadium is selling out for season tickets. 23,500. It's amazing. What's happening right now at the University of Cincinnati with that, with recruiting, with, on the field product and winning is beyond anything I could have thought of 4 years ago. And I'm sure you think the same way. But at the end of the day, this success has to be sustained. Remember that 30 for 30 documentary I have made this, what's happening right now at the University of Cincinnati, I have made it into a 30 for 30 documentary. And remember I said, right now we're at the climax. But there cannot be a falling action of, well, that was the apex. No, you got to continue the plot going up this way, not down this way. You got to sustain the success. If you get to 25,000, let's say the Bearcats go, 11-1, 12-1, 13-0, something like that with the third straight conference title, maybe win a New Year's Six bowl game, then okay, you can get to 25,000 next year going to the Big 12. If there is another rapid increase in season ticket sales, then okay, we can talk then about expansion. But I'm not ready to talk about it just yet because I don't even know if Nippert Stadium expanding is the best thing to do. And I'll explain why next. But first, I got to tell you about Built Bar because, our friends keep coming out with the amazing new flavors. Well, the ad didn't load. Anyway, hang on. So, we got an amazing new flavors of Built Bar. This time, they've truly outdone themselves. Their new mud pie flavor. Spoiler alert, I'm not a mud pie fan because I've never had it. Mississippi mud pie. That was a dish on the cruise I was on. For the first time ever, Built is introducing the new mud pie flavor in both mud pie bar and puff. You're not sure what it tastes like? Well, if you're a chocolate fan, you better sit down for this because the new mud pie bar is rich with whipped cream and chocolate mousse. Okay, now I'm a fan. Smothered in 100% real chocolate and topped with cookies and cream crumble. This is what I'm going to be ordering. I don't know why I said I wasn't a fan. I am now. You've got to try the mud pie as soon as possible, and you need to hurry because the mud pie bar and mud pie puff are only available for a limited time. So go to Built.com to taste the deliciousness for yourself. If you're not convinced, well, we've saved the best for last. It's actually good for you. You see, all Built Bars are products in low calories, high protein, low sugar. There's only 150 calories and 8 grams of sugar in these bad boys. It's like your mom baked the most deliciously creamy chocolate mud pie and wrapped it up just for you. My mom would do that. Mud pie bars and puffs are available right now at Built.com, but they're going fast because they're delicious. And you're going to love the new mud pie Built Bar and Built Puff. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite, Built is the perfect protein bar and they taste way better than a candy bar. Chocolate mousse, whipped cream, cookies and cream crumbles. Stop drooling. Go to Built.com and order your box of mud pie bars and puffs right now. You won't regret it. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. The Ultimate NBA Mock Draft starts June 16th with over 50 insiders. Nothing equals the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft. The Locked On NBA Big Four Draft Experts plus the Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. Search Ultimate NBA Mock Draft and follow now so you don't miss a pick. Alex Frank here with you, Locked On Bearcats, your host each and every day. So, Nippert Stadium expanding, like we talk about it like it'd be great if it did, and yes, it would, but is that the best thing that needs to happen? Look at all these new stadiums that we keep seeing that are getting built. Atlanta, you got the new Yankee Stadium. SoFi, I've never been there, nor have I talked to anybody who has been there that's been to a Rams and Chargers game. But I will say this. I talked to Dan Horde after the Peach Bowl in 2020, and I asked him what Mercedes-Benz Stadium is like, just up the road from where I am in Atlanta. And Dan said that it's designed for the corporate crowd. Now, what that I think means, and how I'm interpreting that, is it's not designed for the rabid fan base. Atlanta is and I'm not trying to make this segment about the city that birthed me into the world, but Atlanta is, you go to a Braves game. It's a baseball town, first of all. And you go near Trubus Park in Marietta, Cobb County. It's a corporate field, right? It's designed for the upper middle class, upscale demographic. Well, what I want in the state, I don't want my stadium to be the nicest or the most corporate. No. I want my stadium to be the loudest. I want it to be inviting for fans of all ages, particularly the young demographic, particularly the students. Notice how these new stadiums aren't as loud. You notice the old Yankee Stadium was much louder than the old Yankee Stadium. You've got too many aesthetics and amenities with these new stadiums. I haven't talked to anybody from Minneapolis, but I wonder if US Bank Stadium is louder than the Metrodome. I guarantee you it's not. Or you go to, I don't know, SoFi, Dallas. Yes, AT&T Stadium has a lot of fans, but it got too many aesthetics and amenities. I think about these older stadiums. Nippert's the third oldest in the country. I think about, Paul Brown Stadium's not the, nicest in terms of its amenities and aesthetics, but it gets pretty loud. I think about Baltimore. I think about Death Valley and LSU and Clemson. I think about Texas A&M. I think about, all these stadiums that are older. I think about Wrigley Field. I think about Fenway Park. I think about any stadium that's not relatively new. Those stadiums get loud. Because, yeah, they may not be the nicest. They may not have, the fancy bars in the, concourse. But they're loud. You want to make teams not want to come play in your stadium. Teams don't like now coming to play the Bengals in the jungle. Teams most certainly don't like coming to Nippert Stadium. Why? A, because the Bearcats haven't lost a home game since November of 2017 when I was still a teenager, fun fact. B, because it gets really freaking loud inside Nippert Stadium. I mean, it gets really loud. The ruckus, when it's right on top of you, is insane. And if you're going to expand Nippert Stadium, you have to keep the students in mind. You really do. Because they are what makes Nippert Stadium the home field advantage that it is. If you've got 40,000 fans screaming right on top of you, there's nothing like that. And I know that Nippert Stadium is not, one of the largest in terms of capacity. But I know it's one of the toughest places to play in the country. You have that home field advantage. And for me, I want that to continue. I don't know what an expansion would look like. I don't know what they would plan to do. Would they add another deck above the Ruckus? Would they add more seats in one of the end zones? I don't know. Mo Egger calls Nippert Stadium his favorite sports venue in Cincinnati. And you look at it, it is. You look at, the way it's designed. It's right in the middle of campus. The history of it, you got the garden in the north end zone. You've got the Ruckus in the south end zone. The way the student section is aligned is phenomenal. And just the, nip at night with the lights on overlooking UC's campus, it really is special. It really is. So my hope is that if it is expanded, the students would be the top priority. You cannot take away anything that the Ruckus provides. Because at the end of the day, I've been in that Ruckus before. When you have that whole student section of 5,000 fans going, good luck to the opposition. Up next, why I don't want to see Nippert expanded, and it goes back to something that is one of my mom's favorite sayings, and it really applies here. I'll explain after a word from two of our sponsors. My mom has a saying that the grass is not always greener on the other side, and that is especially true here. So one thing about me is I've never been someone that has jumped on a trend or is a bandwagon. I've had many people come up to me and say, "Hey, did you see? Oh, have you seen this guy recently? Oh, dude, you got to jump on this bandwagon. Oh, dude, it's so cool to hate the New England Patriots. They always win." First off, it's not. You know what's cool? It's being original. I happen to like the New England Patriots a bit when I was a kid. I like seeing them win. I like seeing good quality teams win. But people would come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, Frankie, did you see this? I mean, you got to jump on this bandwagon." No, I don't. Just because it's cool. Just because it's what everybody's doing. No. I'm original. I like to have my own opinions. Everybody in 2019, "Oh my God, the Bengals got to get Tua Tagovailoa as their quarterback." No, they don't. They got to get Joe Burrow. Look what that turned into. So anyway, here. The grass is not always greener just because Nippert Stadium needs to expand. It's not. Nippert Stadium, yes, is small for Power 5 conferences. But fine by me. Again, Nippert Stadium is the home of a college football team who plays on an urban campus in Cincinnati. You're not going to be able to build a ginormous stadium because there are other stadiums in Cincinnati. You got Great American Ballpark. You've got Paul Brown Stadium. You've got TQL Stadium. You don't need to expand it unless season tickets keep going up. If that happens. But right now, there's no need to. Keep it at 40,000. It is okay the way it is. It's been renovated within the last 10 years. You know, it's sold out so many times over the last Bearcats football program has been doing. There's no need to ruin something. There's another saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nippert Stadium ain't broke. It's not. It's perfect the way it is. Yes, it's small, but it still feels like you have a legitimate college football atmosphere. Sometimes quality is better over quantity. Quality is better over quantity. And I think that's the case here. You don't need to add 10,000 more seats just to get it up to where other Power 5 teams might be. No, you don't need to do that. I know Indiana's got more seats than Notre Dame. I understand, or Cincinnati rather. I understand Notre Dame's got 80,000. I understand that Ohio State's got 100 whatever thousand. I understand all that. I also understand that the Bearcats have won inside Nippert Stadium. It's like, if something's working, why mess it up? You don't need to, mess with it right now. The only way you would need to expand is if season tickets sales go out to 30,000 fans. If you've got 75% of the capacity going to season ticket members, and it makes it harder for general admission to get tickets, fine. Then expand. Then I'm all for it. But right now I'm not. There's no reason to. I need to see the Bearcats have sustained success for the next 5 years before I see Nippert Stadium expand. And I'm one of the biggest Bearcats supporters there is. Heck, I'm the host of a daily Bearcats podcast where I hype up the Bearcats. Then again, I am most certainly not a homer. Just because we say the word expansion and we think it sounds great, it might sound great. But dig a little deeper and you go, do you really need it right now? No, you don't. You have no idea what's going to happen in the Big 12. The first year in the Big 12, when a Big 12 opponent comes to Cincinnati, I want that place rocking. I want that place loud. I want false starts on every play. You're not going to have that if you expand. And if you do expand, again, you better make sure the students have priority. You better not change the Ruckus unless you add seats to the Ruckus. Then we can talk. But just because we bring about expansion because of the number of season tickets that have been sold out this year does not mean that it's a great thing. Because I don't know what it would look like. And I don't know how long the Bearcats can sustain their success. What if you expand and Luke Fickell bolts for another job? Fifth Third Arena was renovated 3 years ago. Mick Cronin, or that was bad, was renovated 3 years ago. Fifth Third Arena, Mick Cronin, booted or bolted after 1 year. People called it the Taj McHall Well, their head coach left after 1 year was renovated. He didn't even get to enjoy it for very long. How's that for you? All right, that's going to do it for me today here on Locked On Bearcats. So much to get to the rest of the week tomorrow. Friday, don't forget, Locked On Steelers host Chris Carter is going to join me. Fun topic on Friday. Just really, again, why are there so many Steelers fans in Cincinnati and quite frankly all over America? Because it's irked me over the years, and I'm sure it's irked you too. Anyway, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Frankie_90 with 2 N's, NNATI. You can follow me on Instagram, AlexFrank9_, and email me at alex3frank@gmail.com. Thanks for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen of every day. Now, go make your second listen the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast with Rafael Barlow, Richard Stamen, Sam Ferris, and Leif Thulin. They give fans an in-depth look into the biggest prospects, the latest player rankings, and, of course, big boards. Follow Locked On NBA Big Board every day on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our Locked On Bearcats YouTube channel. Share a comment and like today's video. You can also get an alert every time a new episode drops by following us. And if you're downloading from an audio platform, Apple, Spotify, or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast, don't forget to subscribe there too. Share a comment and or give it a rating. For the Locked On Bearcats podcast, I'm Alex Frank. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.